Every great creative work stands on the shoulders of giants. Welcome to RetroInspection, where we examine and find out where the things we love today came from.
Well, and obviously, if any kind of diagnosis could have come from his father, and maybe that was, because they were estranged.
Also, standards for MDs were a lot looser back then too. You had a lot of guys out there getting patients with correspondence school degrees.
Right.
I mean, that quack in Kansas that's grinding up goat testes and surgically implanting them into people. that guy had a correspondence school degree, but he was allowed by the state of Kansas at the time to call himself such and such MD. So I don't know how much we want to lean on the possibility of his father being a lot of help. I mean, his father was still taking continuing ed stuff, throughout the course of his career. Howard accompanies his father to New Orleans on such a continuing education trip. And while his dad's taking classes, he's in the university library. That's where he first comes across, Celtic history and mythos, which would form some of the basis for the stuff in Conan. Particularly, like material relating to the Picts, who loom kind of large in the Hyborian. I don't know whether we run what you would even call it, the Hyborian history, the Hyborian mythos, along with
Hyborian Age.
Hyborian, okay. People from such as but also like including people from Atlantis and Lemuria and such,
Well, just to kind of wrap up his early history, or his history, Howard continued to write. He wrote. Let's see. The characters that he created were Kull the Conqueror, Solomon Kane, Conan the Cimmerian, who became Conan the Barbarian. He wrote several correspondences with H.P. Lovecraft. They were in the kind of a writing circle. Yeah. He wrote a ton of westerns, and he didn't settle on Conan until the very end of his writing career, where he started off with the Hyborian Age, where he expanded on Kull the Conqueror's history, and then after that was done, he used that as you say, as kind of a Bible, where he used that as a foundation for the works of Conan. And the popularity of his Conan work didn't really hit until after he passed away. But they did well enough in Weird Tales as separate novellas or series, I guess, right?
It was a series of stories because the length varied. I think he only ever wrote one actual full-length Conan novel. But the popularity of the character has kind of waxed and waned since the 30s. I think the best way to put this, his literary rights in general, not just Conan, but in general, passed through a lot of hands after his death. I think they are now concentrated. That's the name of that company. It's the European company. But they bounced around. Initially, his father was his literary executive, and his dad sold it to another doctor that he knew, and the doctor sold it to some other people, and so on and so forth. In the 60s, the Conan rights in particular did come to rest with a fellow pulp writer named L. Sprague de Camp, or de Camp. He'd been another Weird Tales alumnus, but there is one company now that actually ends up with the rights, Paradox Entertainment. So anything since, I believe, the 90s has been under Paradox, and Paradox I think has everything. So thus there was also a Solomon Kane movie so far this century, and then the 2011 Conan movie with Jason Momoa.
Like, subscribe, repost, share everywhere. To see what else we're up to, visit xynobooks.com, xenobooks.com.